Any views expressed in this film are those of the artists, recorded as part of the Future is Loading exhibition.
Hi, I'm Rudy Loewe. I'm a visual artist and artist educator. My pronouns are they, them. I work with different kinds of topics like Black history, colonialism, gender, sexuality, and how these themes can be looked at through painting, drawing, and printmaking. I am a light-skinned Black mixed-race person with two long braids, glasses, a nose ring, a cowrie shell necklace, and a little beanie hat.
Hi, my name's Tobi, pronouns they, them. I'm an interdisciplinary artist. I work mostly with mediums around visual, in terms of like video and sound, in terms of poetry and singing, kind of incorporating harmonies into my work. A lot of my topics and themes revolve around healing, ancestral language, and just coming back to nature. I am a dark-skinned Black femme with bold hair and a little tuft of a lock growing on the left side of my head. I'm wearing an abalone shell necklace. I have one earring in my right ear and two nose piercings, one in my septum and one in my actual nose, which is a circular ring, a spiral ring.
And you have beautiful lipstick.
Yes, a beautiful purple lipstick.
One thing I wanted to ask you about were resources that have been helpful for you in this time period.
Reading a lot. I think reading has just been very helpful for me a lot. And one book that I really, really want to recommend to everybody is The Body is Not an Apology. I don't know if people have read this book yet, and if you haven't, then please grab a copy, because I think it's not necessarily disability centered, but it is definitely access, and it's like an access conversation. It's like kind of what I was saying earlier about leaving presumptions and assumptions of bodies at the door. In terms of actual resources, I think mutual aid groups have been my biggest support system. There are mutual aid groups for BIPOC, the one for disabled people. There's one for people who are, family members of COVID survivors, and that's where I've been finding a lot of access. And a lot of institutions have been making lots of their books free, through just links where you can just download a bunch of books, any that you want. I wish I could share that somehow, but I don't think I'll be able to. But I'm sure that if you were to Google it or search in whatever search engine you're using, you'd be able to find lots of resources from Penguin, Cambridge Press, and a lot of them are about access. And I've been reading a lot of abolishment material.
There's also the Shape Arts zine to go alongside the exhibition. I have not been able to read very much because my concentration at the moment is just really caca. So I've been trying to meditate. Since I have started reading a little bit again, I've been reading Love and Rage by Lama Rod Owen. It's really been helping me. I think just processing all of the emotions around what's happening at the moment is really important. And also listening. I listen to a lot of things like podcasts. So there's How to Survive the End of the World with Adrienne Marie Brown and Autumn Brown. And so they had started this series before the pandemic, and basically when the pandemic really started to grow, then their episodes became even more important to try and think about this in terms of COVID. There are some real gems. But I think just kind of things like this has been really important, and also kind of like you said, finding different kinds of spaces to find healing in as well, and also acknowledging that the capitalist system that we live in wants us to work in a certain way, and being kind to ourselves and saying sometimes it's just not possible to work in those ways, and that's totally fine. And like, our body is not just a tool for productivity, but like, we actually need to be thinking about healing and taking care of ourselves and each other right now as well.
Yeah, I've been holding a lot of online meditation spaces for queer, Black and brown people, trying to make those like, you know, semi-regular. And there's lots of different apps out there that just help with meditation. There's one called Liberate, which is purely Black and brown people, just have just lots of meditative resources.
They have free meditations and talks on there as well.
But I think it's also just being able to, I don't know, I feel kind of affirmed, you know, by the fact that before lockdown I was already quite isolated, because a lot of my community is in London. I don't live in London, I live in Essex. But now being in lockdown, not feeling guilty for not being able to like see people who I care about, but then finding other ways to stay in contact, even though, you know, I'm not really the best with my phone. I will still like schedule a time to make sure that I'm checking in with people, making sure they're okay, having group chats where we play games, which is sometimes a bit stressful. So I don't know if I'd recommend that, but just the access to the connection and knowing that, you know, there are people who you can reach out to if you need support, and those people might even be strangers. There's this app called Dial Up, and it just connects you to random people around the world who are feeling lonely, who might just need a conversation. And that's been illuminating, because, you know, we do get stuck in the reality of our own little bubble. And sometimes it's good to be reminded that so many things are happening in places where we might not be, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't be thinking about these things, and, you know, holding ourselves in solidarity with people who, just have different experiences to us.
As someone who does not get their energy from other people, this experience has been a really surprising challenge, you know, because I feel like at the beginning of the lockdown, I just had surgery anyway, so I wasn't going anywhere. But I was also like really content in my home, you know, just like, well, I'm happy being at home. This is fine. And it's been interesting, because I don't like to talk on the phone. I don't like video chats. You know, I've already told you I've got shifty little, shifty neurodivergent eyes. So I get kind of like self-conscious on video chats, or like, you know, video meetings when you have like work meetings and stuff. It's all exhausting. And it's really interesting, because I feel like you still need ways to connect with people. And yeah, it's about like finding the ways that work for you. I don't know, we just need to find different ways to be able to connect with each other.
I agree. And also, yes, it doesn't have to look like being on a video chat. It doesn't have to look like being on a video call either. I think like figuring out what it is that you need, and then asking for that of your community, asking for that from your friends, even if it's like, actually, you know, I don't want to be on video chat. Maybe I just want to sit, you know, 3 meters away from you in a park for 10 minutes in silence, or catch up with you in that way, and know that that's going to be me recharged socially for the next week or two. That's also an option. Nothing's prescriptive, and yeah, we all need to be really, hopefully, trying to use this time to figure out what our needs are and how we can reach out to our communities and build this consistent mode of communicating that, it might not look conventional, but it works for you, so it's fine.
One thing I would like to say is, I feel also like a reason why I was really excited about this exhibition was because I feel like, you know, art and creativity are really important ways to engage people in topics that sometimes are complex or difficult, you know, that need a bit of unpacking. And I feel like this is a really good moment to try to have some of those conversations with people through creative practice. Like I said, for me, like, you know, sometimes having those conversations like in a face-to-face way, or on the phone or through video, they don't really work for me. But that's something that I can do through my practice. It's something that I can do in giving workshops and things like this as well. And so that feels like a really important way to be engaging in the conversation right now.
Really, really 100%. Like even the work that I'm sharing as part of this exhibition is really centered around chronic pain and disabilities and my experiences of it. And I don't think I've ever even thought about what it would look like to incorporate that so directly into my work. And it's been nice to sit inside of that and also have the time to edit it by myself and think about what I want the structure to look like and not feel like, I have to rush off to go and pick my little one up from school, or I have this job here that I need to sort out, or, this thing that I need to drive to London for. So it's been really good. And it's also made me think about how, access is what I need of it. Like access is what I'm asking for. Access is like, actually, you know what? If this thing doesn't work for me, I'm not doing it, and that being okay, and knowing that it's not necessarily a privilege, because it means that sometimes I'll lose work or not be able to do things that I want to do, but I'll have peace in myself and know that I'm not going to go and overexert myself in a situation that this is not accessible to me. So,
and ultimately, we don't want to work with people who are not willing to make those kind of adjustments or access needs anyway,
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. It's just once that's a commute, like a continual thing, like it's like waves in the water. Once those waves like start being more far and wide reaching, and they realize, actually we can't book anyone for work because nobody's taking these jobs because they're not accessible, then there will be change. And that's what I mean also when I'm talking about like collective accountability, or like, communal building or sustainable work that is anti-capitalist. It means having to lose out sometimes and being okay with that.
Thank you so much, Tobi, for this very needed conversation.
Yes, this was great. I'm glad we were able to have it, and it's always a pleasure speaking with you.
And thank you to Shape Arts for giving us this space.
Yeah, shout out to Shape Arts. They also have lots of access documents and resources and information on their website. So that's a good place to start for anybody who's looking or interested in maybe building a website that's more accessible, or just reading up on some resources that artists have put together, for people to have access to.